Are you tired of saying yes to everything when you really want to say no? Grab a seat, let's talk. You need a break. Hello, this is Maya Devasya and welcome back to my channel. But before we begin, I need to clear a few things up. Because, let's be real, certain terms can get a bit tangled. Some people often confuse the term people pleasers with manipulators when in reality those two are two different poles. So I thought I'll just clear the confusion. People pleasers aim at making everybody happy, while manipulators, they often have some other whole different game plan. I thought I'll just put it out here, so that we're on the same page. And today, we are shining the spotlight on the real MVPs, the people pleasers. Thank you for tuning in. So, if you stumbled upon this video, hi, keep watching. But if you looked it up, I know what you're going through. And here is a tight teddy hug. It's okay. You are gonna be okay. Because today, I'm going to give you some tips and tricks to pull you out of the approval trap. Keep watching. How do you know you are a people pleaser? Like, what are the signs? Let's find out. Number 1, the inability to say no. So, someone is asking you for a favor, but you are drowned in commitments and you really want to say no. You're about to say no, but then a faint yes rolls in. If you find yourself nodding so much, that, my friend, is a classic sign. What's number 2? You are constantly worried about losing people, so you go to great lengths to prioritize their needs over your own. Are you anxious about other people's opinion about you? Have you ever lost sleep fearing someone is upset with you? Been there, done that. And you end up constantly seeking approval because you are terrified of disappointing others. Problem: if "I'm sorry" is your go-to phrase even though you're not at fault, to avoid conflicts. If you're over-explaining even for the silliest of things because you really don't want the other person to misunderstand you, those are all people pleaser moves. Besides these, if you find yourself changing your opinions in order to align with others, and if you experience emotional exhaustion because you're trying to please other people all the time, those are all signs. Even if you resonate with a few, congratulations, you are officially a people pleaser. Now you must be wondering, why me? Why am I behaving like this? Why can't I stand up for myself? For once, before you blame yourself, hear me out. It is not your fault, not all the time. It has a lot to do with societal expectations. And to be honest, not just society, it starts sometimes even from our own home, from our own parents. From the moment we begin to walk and talk, society and our parents throw a script at us. Be nice, be respectful, be agreeable. Otherwise, people won't like you. You won't fit in. So most of our lives, we grow up thinking pleasing others is the golden ticket to fit in, to avoid rejections and to avoid judgment. So I vividly remember when I was a kid, my mom never allowed me to wear any short dresses or sleeveless tops or anything like that. But I was a kid and I always wanted to try it because it's trendy and your friends are wearing it. Also, my mom is a teacher and she kind of views everything from a teacher's perspective. So she was kind of strict about that. And she told me that teachers kind of hates it when the kids come to school in all these tight-fitted clothes. So obviously she wants her child to be teacher approved. So this continued up until college. So this was years ago. Now time has changed, my mom changed, but do you know who hasn't? Me. Even now, I'm unable to wear certain kinds of clothes. Even if I try to wear it, I'll be extremely uncomfortable until I get back home. Because it's fixated right here that someone is constantly judging me, although I live in a Western country. That's the funny part. Nobody actually cares. So this is kind of a people-pleasing mindset because you are worried about what people would think. I'm definitely trying to change my mindset and bring in more body positivity, but the real reason why I'm telling you this is to let you know, to remind you that you are not alone. And if you're wondering why you're a big-time people pleaser, It's time to reflect. It's probably, it probably came from your childhood, and that's okay. And I agree that it is difficult to overcome that feeling. It's difficult to shift that mindset immediately, but certainly doable. You gotta practice. It's time for some tips and tricks. Practice number 1. Take a pause. Imagine you are in a yes or no situation. Do not respond immediately. Why? Because then you'll end up in a commitment you would probably regret. Take a pause, breathe, take a moment to think about whether saying yes aligns with your priority. Be clear and direct. Do not over-explain. Like, shut up, it's stressful. Come on, who are you trying to prove? Be straight up. Because if you beat around the bush, the other person might get the idea that you're confused, and then they might try again, and guess what happens? You'll probably say yes. Do not fall for that trap. Be very confident in what you say. And how can you do that? Practice number 3. Call up a friend or get in front of a mirror and practice saying no until you become confident. I know it sounds silly, but it works. The more you do it, the more comfortable you become. Number 4, practice self-compassion. Journaling is a great thing to start if you haven't already. You don't have to do it every day. I don't do it every day. Do it only if you feel like it. Like, jot down your values, your priorities. Are you feeling anxious? Are you feeling guilty? Write it all out. Let it all out on a paper. And if you don't want to do it on a paper, you can also do it online. That's what I do. I even have a suggestion. Try Notability app. Thank me later. Practice number 5. Let's learn some go-to phrases. Because let's be honest, we all get stuck sometimes. Sometimes we don't know what to say, and then you end up in all the wrong situations. In that case, these phrases can come handy. Some default replies. Let's see. I would love to, but it doesn't work for me at the moment. I appreciate the offer, but unfortunately I cannot commit right now. I wish I could, but I have got plans. Don't tell them what the plans are. Remember, over-explanation. If they insist, just tell them. It's personal. Well, these are some example phrases, by the way. You can create your own default responses. Setting boundaries is not selfish, if that's what you think. It's more like an act of self-love. It's not like you're building a wall around you. You can be there for others, but protect your sanity. More like creating a safe space for your own well-being. Now, how do you make that possible? For that, you have to know yourself. What makes you uncomfortable? Where do you need the space? You might even hear people say, hey, it's okay for them. Why is it not okay for you? Because people are different. If you are not okay with something, decline gracefully. It's totally fine to do that. Hey, I don't know what you're going through right now, but if there is no one around you to give you an assurance, I'm going to give you that. It is not your fault. Stop rehearsing apologies in your head. Stop texting that. You don't have to take other people's mistakes just to avoid a conflict. If you don't stand up for yourself, who else will? And no matter how good of a person you are, someone somewhere will find a random reason to hate you. But do you know what the good news is? It's okay to be disliked. Here, you need this book. Take a screenshot. It's 3 a.m. Are you still overthinking about something that you said last week? Guess what? They're not thinking about it. Then why are you thinking about it? Repeat after me. You are not responsible for anyone's happiness. You also don't need anyone's approval. Let's just say you finally learned to say no. Brace yourself, because things are gonna get dramatic. Not gonna lie, it will be difficult. But every change is difficult. I'm going to give you a glimpse of what to expect once you finally get into the track, so that it doesn't jump scare you. I am so sorry to break it to you, but this will happen the moment you establish boundaries. And personally, this was my biggest fear, and I cannot believe the things that I tolerated so that I don't lose this person or these people. But no more. Now you want to leave? Oh, here's the door. Please don't come back. You know what? People pleasing is not just about you saying yes to favors or requests. It's also you silently tolerating certain situations or certain jokes. When you think about it, most of the time our insecurities come from random jokes toasted on by our own friends. Words do carry weight. Remember those days you were forced to laugh at jokes made about you, although you were silently hurting inside? And you stayed silent because you thought if you say something that might make you look a bit immature, because you're joking, right? We all have been there, and that's enough. You don't have to do that to yourself. You don't have to tolerate any insensitive jokes just because they think it's light or they think it's okay. If someone is causing you emotional distress, no matter how close they are or how important they are, it is essential to draw a line, because your feelings are valid too, and expressing them doesn't make you immature. Now, why am I telling you all this? Because the moment you start to say no to people, especially your people, could be your friends or family, things are going to get a tad uncomfortable for both of you, because they're not used to hearing you say no to them, and that'll catch them off guard. That's where the guilt trip starts. You probably won't be able to sleep that night. You probably will question whether you said was right. But listen, let me tell you this. Whatever you said was absolutely right. You stood up for yourself. Good job. And the guilt you're feeling right now is absolutely normal. What's the worst that can happen after all? Two things can actually happen. Once you say no, the people who are actually genuine to you will immediately respect your limit because they don't want to hurt you. The other group of people, maybe they'll make you feel bad about yourself. But at the end of the day, you know whom to choose. Guilt trips will always take you to realizations. It's like an eye-opener. Additionally, it might trigger your fears of being perceived as selfish. You'll face negative reactions from people. It's all part of the game. You'll soon learn a healthy balance. It's a gradual process. But if you still find it too difficult to handle, don't hesitate to seek support from your friends or family or even a professional. Okay, but what if you fly? Let's see the perks of setting boundaries. You're going to get so much of a free time because now you don't have any unnecessary commitments, and that'll free up your schedule, of course. You can finally focus on what matters to you. Improved relationships. Yeah, because all the good ones stay. How about others? Saying no will definitely repel people away from you. That's 100% guaranteed. But what are you losing? Whom are you losing? Oh, the people who don't want to respect your boundaries. You think that's a loss? No. Our new mantra from now on will be not to call it losing people. It's actually cleansing, because the garbage will take itself out. When you begin to say no when needed, when you begin to communicate your values, that's basically like telling yourself, hey, my needs matter too. That will boost your confidence, and over time you realize your self-worth doesn't hinge on making everyone happy. You also need to be consistent to be good at saying no. And once you master the art of setting boundaries, people will subconsciously develop a caution zone with you, and they will hesitate to take you for granted because, believe it or not, people can pick up vibes. Yes, you can finally breathe because you are free from overcommitment and expectations. Isn't that liberating? Let me tell you this again. Learning to say no is not about turning people down. It's just another way of you telling yourself that you have got self-respect. It's a choice. And if this all didn't convince you, I have something deep down from my heart for you. A letter. I once posted it, but here's it again. And I hope it calms you down.